Hi guys, today I'm creating this gorgeous glowy pinky bronze look on my model Corey. So I'm starting off just by prepping her skin with a bit of MAC Fix Plus, and then I'm just going with concealer just to prime her eyelids. And then I'm just setting her lids with a translucent powder. So now I'm using MAC Soft Brown, and I'm just using this as the first transition shade on Corey's lids. So I'm using this from the crease of her eye up to the brow bone, and I'm just really going back and forth until it's fully blended out and you don't see any lines whatsoever. So now I'm taking the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk eyeshadow palette, and I'm starting off with the matte pinky shade on the top right, and I'm just running that through the crease of her eye all the way into the inner corner. I'm taking the colour underneath it, the brown tone, and I'm just going to be placing that on the outer half of the lid and just pressing that down to get the most pigment, and then I'm going to be blending the excess through the crease of her eye. And I'm keeping this more onto the outer half. I'm not really bringing it too far into the inner corner of the eye. So now I'm just taking the Mecca eyeliner in brown. This is a really beautiful pencil because it blends out super easy. So basically I just draw this as close as I can get it to the lash line, and as you can see I actually lift her brow up slightly just so that you can really get it in there to the lash line. And now I'm just using a small blending brush just to blend that out and diffuse it so it creates a really nice soft definition to the lash line. So I'm just going in with the shimmery shade from the palette now, and I'm just using a flat shader brush and just pressing that onto the lid, mainly focusing it from the center of the lid to the inner corner. Then I'm taking the Charlotte Tilbury Wonderglow primer. I love this so much. It adds such a nice glow to the skin and makes it look really fresh and luminous and dewy, and it makes the foundation sit really, really nice on top. So now I'm going in with the Light Wonder foundation, and on Corey I'm using the shade 7, which is a beautiful shade for my fake tan clients. In with my absolute favorite sponge. It's by Kitology. It is the most softest sponge I've ever used, and every client that I use it on asks me what it is. It's so amazing. So I'm just pushing that into the skin and just making sure there's no excess product. And then I'm going to be highlighting and concealing her under eyes with the Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer from Laura Mercier, and just using a Sigma under eye concealer brush. And I'm just going to be patting that into the skin. Usually I apply with a brush and then blend out with a sponge, but I find this brush really blends it in and leaves a lot of coverage. Then again, I'm just going in with my sponge just to press it all in and just make sure that the concealer blends into the foundation. You don't see a line between the two products. So next I'm using my favorite cream blush. It's by Nudestix. This one's in the color Cherry Blossom Babe, and I'm just pressing that into her cheeks, and I actually like to bring the blush back towards the temples. I really like a super flushed, fresh looking blush look, and these ones are really nice because they've actually got a bit of a dewy consistency to them so they don't look matte at all on the skin. So now I'm using Bondi Bay, which is my favourite to use for a really nice bronze. So I'm applying to the forehead and blending that out, and then I'm applying a light amount just to her cheekbones, just to give her a little bit of a light bronze or contour. So now I'm going in with the Mecca Max Liquid Light in the shade Gold, and I'm using that same concealer brush that I used just to really press that into the skin. And then I always go in with the my ring finger after, and I just press that in because I find that the warmth from my hands pushes that into the foundation a bit more. So now I'm going in with the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush finishing powder, and I'm using the shade 2 medium, and all I'm doing is patting this in lightly to her skin, just where she's going to get oily, so like the sides of the nose, the cheeks, the chin, between the brows, and just a little bit under the eyes because I don't want her to crease. But I find this powder really airbrushes, and it never looks cakey. You can barely see it on the skin. It just sets it and makes it look absolutely poreless. So now I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm base palette, and I'm just taking the bronzer shade. It's really beautiful. It's got a really nice sheen to it. I'm just adding this to the same area that I used the Bondi Bay cream bronzer, but I'm just using this to set. So now I'm going to go back into that same palette. I'm taking the blush shade and I'm just applying this to the apples of the cheeks. It's such a beautiful blush because it adds a bit of a glow as well. So it's almost like a bit of a highlighter and a blush in one, but it's such a beautiful peachy pink shade. So now I'm just using Charlotte Tilbury's iconic nude lip liner. This is my absolute favorite nude. It matches so many skin tones perfectly and they're super long lasting. So basically I'm just doing a really light outline of Corey's lips, and I want to keep this look really soft, so I'm not going to do any overdrawing or anything like that. And then I'm just going to use Penelope pink in the center of her lips. It's a gorgeous pinky peachy nude. And I'm just finishing off with the Charlotte Tilbury Collagen Lip Bath. It's the peachy shade. So now going back into the eyeshadow quad, I'm taking the pale pink shade again, and I'm just running that from the outer corner of Corey's eye to the inner corner. And I always like to repeat the steps that I did on the top of the lid when it comes to the matte shades. So I'll always start with like the transition shade first and blend that out, and then I'll go in with the darker brown that we use as well, and I'm just going to add that mainly to the outer corner of Corey's eyes so that we can join her top lash line down to the bottom lash line. It just makes it look really seamless and blended. So just to finish off the skin, I'm just picking up that gold highlighting shade, and I'm just placing this on the highs of Corey's face, so just her cheekbones, the tip of her nose between her brows, and just the tiniest little bit above the brow. So I'm just using Beachy Brows Brow Soap and just combing Corey's brows up. She had just had them tinted, so they were pretty dark already, and basically I just wanted to create a really fluffy, soft brow look to go with the eyeshadow. So for the last step for the eyes, I'm just going in with the highlight shade and just placing that on the inner corners of Corey's eyes. It's a really subtle shade. Usually I would go for something a little bit more intense, but it looked really soft and pretty. So not too sure what we did here with the camera, but basically I'm just taking a fan brush and a mascara and I'm just coating that really lightly on Corrie's bottom lash line, and I've already placed individuals and done the same to her top lash as well, just off camera. So here is the final look on my beautiful model Corrie. If you have any other tutorials that you'd like me to film, just leave it below in the comment section. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it.